Hi everyone, it's Tom from Daddy Daydream here. The Division caused a significant splash upon its release back in March 2016. It sold incredibly well initially, but the player base quickly began to move on to other things. This happened largely due to the heights of the expectations before launch and its numerous bugs upon release. These bugs put players off playing, and as Ubisoft stumbled around trying to patch it, the player base had already moved on. I was one of those many players who had fun with the Division at launch, but soon fell out of love with it. Upon its release, it was continually compared to Destiny, and despite the hype surrounding it, the majority of folk on my friends list are seen playing Destiny now rather than the Division. In part due to the hype, and in part because of an awesome online offer that I found, I bought the Division with its season pass. I don't normally buy season passes, but because of its low cost, I thought it was worth the shout. The purchase has proven to be pretty much a waste of time, really. I've not played a lot of the Division until fairly recently, when I decided to get back into it and give it another go. A few nights ago, word caught my ear of Division's recent DLC release, Survival. It reminded me that I owned it, and I reinstalled it, ready to hop back into New York. I was immediately struck by what a beautiful game the Division is. The streets of New York, stuck in an eternal Narnia-esque winter, looked just as I'd left them. I spent most of the evening clearing out my inventory and playing about with a few side quests. I entered the Dark Zone and was destroyed numerous times by other players. Despite getting back into the Division because of the rumours of Survival, I couldn't actually play it. For a while, I couldn't find it. I didn't know where in the game I had to go to actually start playing Survival mode. Google search later helped me find whereabouts in the game you actually have to go to start a game of Survival. This has happened in several games before. It boggles my mind that the developers do this, that they put DLC in relatively obscure places to find. The following evening, I decided to hop on and have a go at Survival. Beginning my first round of Survival revealed an entirely new game. A game familiar, yet very different. A game with similar but different goals and a wonderful sense of adventure, fear and exploration. Survival sees all players begin equal. It doesn't matter how many hours you've already put into the Division, what level cap you are, what fancy weapons you may use. Survival strips everyone of everything that they have earned and kicks them out into the cold, literally. Once you've been dropped to a random location in New York, you rise and discover that you are infected. You have about 1 hour to live, and the only way to survive is to make your way to the Dark Zone and signal for an extraction. The problem with this is that all you have is a pistol, minimum armour and thin clothing. A fierce storm is raging in the city. Heading outside immediately starts to freeze you. The weather is far more harsh than the main game of the Division. After a few minutes, it actually starts to lower your health. Stay outside for too long and you'll die. The only way to survive is to move from heat source to heat source and to find better equipment. This makes for some incredible gameplay. The city has wandering groups of NPCs, and at landmarks the best loot can be found. This encourages players to explore them and brings them together in pockets where the best loot is, but also the best loot, of course, is best protected. Outside of survival mode, the Division has received loads of significant improvements over the past year. It's currently in version 1.5 and 1.6 is due out fairly soon. A recent update has increased the maximum enemy levels, increased the amount of loot drops, added some special named equipment, altered a number of talents. Survival is still relatively new, but players' eyes are already turning to the next piece of DLC, which is called Last Stand. Many think that this is likely to look at the Dark Zone, or at least be PvP focused in some way. Following the massive recent success of Survival, a fresh look at the Dark Zone would be very welcome to most players. Upon release, it was one of the Division's biggest selling points. Unfortunately, it's quickly fallen out of favour with lots of players, as people have discovered ways to cheat their way to victory in the Dark Zone. For now, I've been very impressed by the after-launch support of the Division. I hadn't thought I'd be getting back into it, but the improvements to the main game and the addition of Survival have made a good game at launch a great game almost a year later. Let us know what you think of the Division in the comments below. Is it a game that you're keen to come back to, or you've come back to recently and have also been surprised by how it's come on? Or are you a player that's come back to it recently and actually you're still disappointed in what the Division has to offer? Thanks ever so much for listening.